Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the second of the daily devotions on the Beatitudes in brief. We're in Matthew 5, verse 3 today, and the very first of the Beatitudes, and I'll read it with you. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. I'd like today to speak on the blessings of a self-emptied life. We saw yesterday the Lord Jesus starts his public teaching in Matthew with the words, "Oh, the blessedness is of, oh, the happiness is of," and gives us the secret of happiness. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Well, the philosophers and the people of that day thought that happiness would be found in honour and riches and splendour and in sensual pleasure. The Lord Jesus said something entirely different. He fixed his eye on the poor and the humble, asserting that happiness was to be found in poverty and not in the pomp and splendours of this life. He'd come to bless the humble, especially those who knew deep spiritual poverty. He's not blessing the poor-spirited here, that is, those who lack vitality and courage. No. He's not even blessing the poor here. He would do that. Read Luke 6, verse 20. But here he is particularly focusing on those where poverty of soul is a frame of mind. It's the place where self-assertiveness and pride is entirely absent and God is all in all. The first sin in the Bible was committed by Lucifer, the devil, found in Ezekiel 28, and it's pride. The first words of Christ are to do with humility. What a contrast. And so the self-emptying conviction here is the fitting state to receive this spiritual blessing. The Lord Jesus exhibited this in his life. He was marked by true humility. In Philippians chapter 2, we read of him, it says there that he thought it not robbery to be equal with God. That is to say, he thought it not a thing to be grasped after, to be found in equality with God, but made himself of no reputation, emptied himself, and took upon himself the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. In John 13, he laid aside his clothes and got down and washed the disciples' feet, including the feet of Judas Iscariot, in picture form showing what he'd done in his birth and incarnation of the one who left the glory and came down to be a servant to his God and Father, never ceasing to be God, but becoming something he'd never been before, a man and a real servant to God. That the one who was rich, says 2 Corinthians 8, became poor. That the one who was the creator of the universe became the carpenter of Nazareth, and never claimed his rights nor resisted when his rights were ignored. When he was insulted, he offered no insult in return. Peter says, when he was reviled, he reviled not again. And he bowed his head to receive a crown of thorns instead of a royal diadem, which was his right as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And he taught the true blessedness is found in moving in total dependence on God, where self is entirely denied. So he lived out his own teaching. And in Matthew's Gospel, this principle of humility is found all the way through. In Matthew 11, he says, "Come unto me, take my yoke upon you, for I am meek and lowly in heart." Is this not the king who rides upon the ass in Matthew 25? "Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord." He's riding on the colt, the foal of an ass. Is this not the one who comes to Bethlehem, the least of the princes, at least of the cities of Judah, in Matthew chapter 2? Is this not the gospel where when the disciples think who should be the greatest, he introduces a child to them and reminds them that those who humble themselves shall be exalted? And he taught that true happiness was found in true humility. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. That must have sent the shockwaves round the room, around the congregation on the mountain, because they all knew about thy kingdom come. They knew that the Messiah would come in the future to set up his kingdom. But theirs is the kingdom of heaven, is a present reality. This was something that could be enjoyed now, and he gave present assurance and hope to all who were depending upon God alone, that the blessing and the happiness was not just the security of a future hope and anticipation of it, but a present reality. And the kingdom of heaven, and this went beyond the boundaries of the kingdom, or a restored kingdom to Israel, and how peace would be reigning in the world one day when the Messiah comes. This is the kingdom that could be possessed now by the poor in spirit. The riches of the realm of heaven could be enjoyed now by those who were cast upon God, and they could enter the blessings of the kingdom because the king had come. Now, brothers and sisters, it's saying here then, to have a happy life, I need to empty myself of selfish thoughts and desires and live humbly before God. And the searching question is, how much am I enjoying this happiness? To what extent is my life one of humility and self-denial? Now, tomorrow, God willing, we'll deal with Beatitude number 2. May God bless you.